Welcome to the Wandering Inn, where we produce tabletop role-playing and actual play shows for your entertainment. If you find yourself enjoying the show, please take a moment to consider supporting the channel via the Patreon. With that support, we pay the cast, pay for the art and production for our shows, and are hoping to expand the number of shows we bring to you. All of your support is appreciated, and always remember to check the description for links related to the channel and the cast. Hello, mon ami. I am your host Sheepdog, and tonight I'm happy to present to you 4 Minutes, a show led by a magnifique games master 4, and featuring the fine role-playing antics of Tessachka, Canary, Rod Johnston, and myself. You may find the links down below to any of the wonderful people in this production, and I highly encourage you to go and give them a little look. 4 Minutes is a small anthology of different stories that may seem to begin with to be completely unconnected. And, well, maybe they are. Our story presented tonight is called Death Life, and is the final part in the 3-part anthology. So, without any further ado, I present to you for your enjoyment, Death Life. Bienvenue.
In Death Life, you play animals that have been uplifted by a titanic entity known as Hymenoptera Unus, who rules the colony that has declared war on humanity and seeks to encourage the animals that she has brought up to liberate themselves. And you are, by definition, the most desperate, in need of liberation, of self-determination. And you are given an opportunity to prove that you have what it takes. The Red Sphinx's leader, Cul-de-sac, has given you a job to do. This operation sounds easy at first. You just need to set a bunch of explosives on a bunch of dirt mounds and blow them up. Interface with the signal that is being sent through, deleted, erase whatever corruption is preventing the Queen's alpha soldiers, the immense truck-sized ants, from decimating the front lines of the human army that is north of you. However, there is another wrinkle in this operation that will cause a bit of difficulty. EMSA. It is human-made virus that affects each animal differently. But you should be safe because none of you are cats. Of course, we have Tex, who is the expert in this particular operation, but he seems unconcerned. It's a matter of keeping your distance from clear signs of infected and looking for those signs with any you might stumble upon. You will not be taking a boat, you will not be taking a vehicle, although Cul-de-sac is wondering why you blew up a perfectly good van. He has some private words with Tex, or you leave. But for the rest of you, you are equipped with a strange assortment of gear that is tailored to you. For instance, Hopkins, your soft skin probably needs a little bit of protection as you start tramping around the woods, so you get a nice pair of rubber boots that will keep your feet from the aggravation of stomping around in the wilderness, an activity that you have never done before. Lilu, you have as evident, the translator, uh, that has given you strange vision as of late, but besides that, you're given quite a number of little trinkets, like a pair of binoculars, they call them, and other things that allow you to help scout here and there. Ketty, you also get some of these, including a bag for your unhinged scheme of flying and aerial reconnaissance with your grounded allies. Um, Rocky, you are placed in charge of transporting the explosives, and Tex is given a gun. Daniel is given nothing. The only thing he needs to bring is his natural aptitude for smashing things. You have been promised that upon completion of this operation, the zoo will be free. You are welcome to do whatever you like afterwards. But if the operation is not complete, then the Red Sphinx has nowhere to go. They can't advance, given these towers are a necessary part of the colony's advance. And just maybe they'll let you keep a human as the last living exhibit. Your previous keeper, Trish. Now, as you leave this operation, what do you do? Before you head out, as you head out, your first foray into the wide world that was kept from you.
A question. There was some fighting around the zoo, right?
Yes.
It was
Soldiers.
many explosions, much fire.
Not as many explosions, but there was gunfire.
I'm
There were
just
human soldiers.
I'm just wondering if there have been any like fires or anything in the like surrounding area. Specifically, I am looking for something along the lines of like burnt out trees, charcoal, essentially.
There will be. You can see in the distance there's a city, um, and you've been told that it is a death zone, basically.
Hmm.
It's a free-for-all down there. There are humans hiding in buildings. They're taking pot shots at anything passing by. The ants are on a clearing agenda where they basically find the perfect like weak point of a structure and just tear it down, and the whole building comes down on top of them, and they dig themselves out.
Hmm.
But the humans have also been bombing their own cities when these invasions occur.
Okay.
So there are plenty of fires that have broken out in the vicinity around the zoo. Um, so yeah, you could definitely find some charcoal with which to perform whatever task you seem to have in mind.
My thought is that toads generally suited for uh, wilderness areas in terms of like color. However, not so much for darkness. So the idea was to get the charcoal to just basically splotch, skin, face, arms, etc., any extremities showing, just to darken and camouflage for the night. And obviously, Hopkins would come back with an armful of it and say, if anyone else would like to prepare themselves for not being seen in the night, then I have some additional charcoal here. And he's kind of like, if he did find someone was able to, like kind of, like cover himself, he's kind of, it's not like a kind of camo print or anything. It's literally just splodge, just like splodges of dark here and there, just to kind of go with the shadow, likely shadows and etc. of the night.
Yeah, Rocky's gonna come over and take it and starts kind of putting on his paw, and he's like, I don't think this works with my fur. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Too thick.
You should be able to darken your fur at the very least.
I suppose I'll try it a little bit on my tummy here.
Try crushing it up and rubbing it. It should be better. And also, I don't offer any to Ketty, just purely because it's not going to be as useful in the air. But do go over and offer some to
some eyeshadow, maybe.
I do go over and offer some to Tex and Lilu.
Lilu, I would look at it and be like, I don't think that's necessary for me. My coloring is very like kind of pale but speckled with dark spots, so I'm kind of like naturally camouflagey anyway. So I think I'll be all right.
I think Tex would definitely like apply some of it to like his chest and his neck. And then he sort of like jokingly hands it over to Daniel, and Daniel just frowns and like creases his brow at him and just gestures to the already numerous streaks of dark stripes on him.
Yeah. So, does anybody have any questions before we head out? I will take that as a no then. In that case, noise is low. Anything that could shine or that could catch the light, you darken, you cover. Conversation to a minimum, and the closer we get, you'll not break the silence.
Eddie checks to make sure that the grenades that were put into a bandolier for her the last time are still ready to go, as it were. And it's not going to blow her up if as soon as she takes off. We do need to make sure all those bins are in place. And then we'll take a couple hops and jump into the air.
Before Ketty does the jumping often, very quickly, Hopkins says, Miss Ketty, the signal for going loud would be either explosions or gunfire. Other things hold off on dropping your payload. Okay. In that case, as Ketty takes off and takes to the air, Hawkins says, in that case, I will take the lead.
And Lilu, Daniel taking the rear. Tex and Rocky taking the gap in between.
Yeah.
I'd be fiddling with the translator Just kind of like reading the manual and looking at its various parts and just contemplating the universe and everything.
As we do.
I almost can see you like being carried by like riding on Daniel's back or his shoulder or something like
Yeah,
that.
that's kind of what I was thinking.
Aww.
If he'd let me, if he wouldn't mind, I'd
I want him to have like, I want him to now I want his only gear to have been like a discarded like baby carrier.
I was thinking more like a backpack with like a seat that I could
Those
just
cat
kind of
bubble
sit.
carriers.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, for like a little boba tea slot.
If
Oh.
if the operation goes south and everything goes wrong, this could turn into the Last of Us mixed with what's it called? Animals of Farthing Woods.
Oh,
Ju-
I don't know what the second one is, but the first one.
it's brutal.
Yeah.
It's it's Watership Down, but even more animals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's
Interesting.
just like Daniel and Lilu kind of going through the wasteland.
I love it. Yes.
But yes, in that case, we head off. Just for the purposes of like heading forward, what type of terrain are we A, moving through, and B, moving into? Like, what is it? How open is it? How tricky is the area we're going to? Is there cover? Is it open? Yeah, etc.
Luckily, all 3 targets that you need to destroy are located along the Potomac River. Now, there are a few miles in which it will be open, where the humans have cleared the area of trees, and it is marked on the map for you. Tex goes over it with you at some point as each of you begins to move into position, goes over each I essentially like a road trip overview. Like, this is the last stop at the gas station. We're not stopping until we get there. And he will point out that the first tower, you'll have to cross open ground first, and then once you get to the river itself, you'll be able to stick to its banks and stay in cover until you see the island that lies in the center. And that is where the first tower will be. The next one, once again, over that cleared area of land that the humans have developed. And the third one, it's very steep, hilly terrain with lots of trees. You'll have an easier time there.
So the first one is on an island on the river.
Correct.
Sounds like Rocky's gonna have to go to that one pretty solo, maybe. I don't know.
Well, Ketty should scout first, no?
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
In that case, we will get as close to the river upstream as we can. And I guess it would depend on whether there are patrols or scouts on our side of the river. But the hope would be used to keep low profile, to cover as much as possible, and proceed to the edge of the river if possible, a fair ways upstream. So we're not like coming to the island directly, but we're upstream of it, along with essentially waiting for what Ketty can see if we don't run into any troubles ourselves.
have an idea that that could possibly be a freeze or honestly a fight roll because you are trying to aggressively move forward, but
Mm.
incognito, so to say. So one of you could make a roll of your fear response, and I could decide that this is a terror roll, that there is something there waiting for intruders.
Okay.
Who should roll?
Should probably be me, right?
You are heading this operation.
In that case, oof,
We're really letting the French toad lead the fighting. I mean, come on.
vive la résistance. Um,
Come on,
I'm
charge of the light brigade. It was a fun time.
Oh yeah. Everyone enjoyed it. Okay. So I want to roll fight because my fight is better than my freeze.
That makes sense.
However, in this instance, I can't see fight working because it is confrontational and this is more avoidance. I have freeze. I do have a tick for camouflage.
Right.
So-
Also, experimental rule, you can help another character with your ticks. And
okay.
it'll just give them a d4 to add to one of their dice.
Okay. Could anyone help me?
Well, how many dice do you have?
One for freeze.
One?
I have
Awesome.
I've been trying to see if fawn would work, but I just really don't think it would in the situation.
It would once you got to the river.
Yeah, because it would be
Once-
about kind of staying still. And,
Exactly.
Kitty has a tick for bird's eye view for freeze.
Okay. Would that work in conjunction?
It would.
Okay.
But whenever you use a tick to help another player, you are open to the consequences as well in case they fail. But I mean, getting there stealthily and having a good idea of what you're walking into, that sounds like a Ketty move.
In that case, it would be 3 dice, I believe. Oh wait,
Actually, ticks only give you a d4 that you roll, and then you can add the result of that to the d4 result.
Okay.
If it's above 4, we'll get into what happens next, but if it's below 4, then I get to inflict terror upon this happy group here.
In that case, I have my tick and I have Ketty's tick, as long as you're willing to assist me. And I have 1d4, so fingers crossed.
Oh.
Oh,
I think that
Okay.
How'd you only
Nice.
roll one? Oh yeah,
I
because you're
only
adding.
have-
actually, yeah. So Sheepy, that's your freeze, right?
Yes.
Okay. I actually kind of want to see I want to see Ketty roll the
Okay.
d4 that will be added to that.
All right.
Oh,
Of
okay.
course.
All right.
Kenny,
When
Ken-
she
every
helps, she
dice
really
Kenny
helps.
rolls is a 4.
Why
She's
why
like
did I
4.
need to roll at all? Like, just let Kenny do it. It's fine. That was a 2 from me and a 4 from Ketty.
He
That
sees
adds up.
everything.
That creates what we call bloat in Death Life. Bloat occurs when a tick pushes the threshold beyond 4. And now it can be used to defeat the change's greatest weapon, presence. Now, the change's presence will shift over time as the stakes get greater and more defined. I can use the change's presence to create and reveal agents of its twisted, corrupted want for your story to become a tragedy. And the easy part is, all I have to do is roll 4d4, and that will be the amount of presence that you have to reduce. All right, so allow me to perform this amazing feat. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Ooh.
So 10. Now, the change gets a leg up on you guys, because the change, when it rolls its presence, can actually just add them all together. It doesn't have to worry about 4s
Okay.
as a instant result.
Sounds
But-
like cheating. Sounds like cheating.
Would be a game if you didn't have a
Challenge.
out- a challenge, I guess. I was gonna go for something dramatic and thematic, but honestly, it's a challenge. Because you got 2 points over 4, you'll be able to inflict 2 points of damage to the change's presence. So this 10 will become an 8. But be aware, for this particular scene, I can use presence to introduce more of its... more of what it
Shenanigans.
wants for this story. So right now, Ketty, this is how your dice are going to come into play. Hopkins begins to advance forward towards the riverside. And it is a open clearing with a few abandoned like farmhouses. However, as you're up in the sky, you can see that there is a dark shape. It's not a bird, because it's not riding the thermals like you are. It's not careening up and down, turning this way and that. It is just going a straight line. You've never seen... Oh!
It hears you.
That was a good sneeze. And it surprises you so badly. The best way you can describe it is it is a moaning machine that is capable of flight and has a strange little buzzing around its honestly, it kind of looks like a crab. And there's a
Delicious.
there's a long like barrel and a bunch of bulky inner workings that is attached to the side of it. But you can see it's advancing on Hopkins and his crew. I do actually want to say that you guys probably have access to radios.
Yeah, didn't we say?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about that.
So there's going to be, if you want, you could you could tackle this in many ways. You could either do a fight, or you can alert Hopkins and have him roll for it. Let him deal with it.
Considering it's Kenny and the thing is in the air, the only person who's allowed to be in the air is Kenny. Kenny would like to eat the crab.
Oh,
And by eat, I
boy.
really mean just crunch it.
Just dive bomb.
Dive bomb the crab.
Give me a fight.
Okay.
What is your fight? I feel like it's 4.
4.
Oh my god.
I didn't roll
Oh.
4.
But you didn't get 1. Now, does anybody want to use a tick, or do you want to use a tick to help out?
I do have a tick.
By the way, I did not mention this, but you can only use a tick once per session unless it's renewed by a specific series of events.
Then I can't use one, so.
You could just take this terror roll, and I'll just inflict. This is a good time to actually like show what happens in Death Life when you fail. Unfortunately,
I've never done that, but I don't know if this is
Yeah,
the best time to do it.
I kind of think it is. You in Death Life, we don't really use hit point trackers or anything like that. We do have something called death and life. These are two different values that will measure how close you are to death and how arduous your life is at the moment. So whenever you fail a roll, we get to talk about what happens in the scene that goes wrong. And whenever that happens, we inflict pain upon your character. Pain is like a special tick that is assigned to your death attribute or your life attribute. With pain in the death attribute, it's injuries. It's a physical, lasting problem that I could use to the change's advantage at some point. If it's life, then it's more of a agonizing self-doubt that manifests itself when the change sees opportunity. For Ketty, terror rolls usually result in injuries, so I kind of want you to barrel into this thing, and it clearly weighs more than you were expecting, more than you.
That's impressive.
Actually, yeah, no, more than what you were before.
Okay.
Now you're kind of just
It's like
massive.
more than a 12-foot wingspan eagle. That is impressive.
That is agonizingly huge. If you are okay with this, I'm going to give you the pain under death, and that is going to be sprained talons or sprained wing, maybe.
Ketty has a previously injured wing. That's why she was in the zoo in the first place, which theoretically should be healed. But it would not take much to either re-injure that or make her think that the same thing that happened to her before happened again.
Okay. Oh, that almost wants me to change it to life, because that memory must be very difficult. Oh.
Yeah, I already gave the bird PTSD, so if you want to play into that.
Oh. You know what? Yeah, because I don't want to break you out of the sky just yet. Put it under the life attribute instead of memory of shattering. And what happens when you receive a pain on your death or life attribute, we have to make another roll. And this roll is going to reduce your attribute. Right now, every character is going to start a campaign with 4 in each death and life. I want you to roll 4 d4s. And then you're going to reduce your life attribute by how many failures you get. Ooh.
1. Oh no, 2.
Yeah, so you have 2. And that means your life rating takes 2 hits. Oh, actually, let me double check that, because this is super experimental. I'm good at creating games. Okay. Okay. Okay, yes. You can restore these. But if it's reduced to 0 from another agony that your character might experience, your maximum could be reduced. And if your pain ever matches the number of maximum that you have, then your character either retires for the session or perishes appropriately. So as you are careening from this impact, the ground is rushing up to meet you at a speed that is frightening, and your fight instinct is thrown to the side as you try to reorient yourself. Thankfully, you still have use of your wing. But in your clutches is a whirring, horrific, hard carapace. And almost immediately after you crash into it, there is a fire that ignites at the end of its odd protrusion. And everyone sees this flying light, this shooting star almost, rocket right out over the river and slam into the other side of the bank with a crash, a voluminous explosion.
We're blowing stuff up? What's blowing up? Why are we blowing stuff up? Let's go. Let's blow stuff
I
up.
thought we were supposed to go in quietly.
I mean, things are blowing up.
Tex adjusts his cowboy hat. Yeah, no! What? Where did that come from? Oh my...
Where's Kenny?
They're drones! They're drones! Get down!
And Rocky's gonna dive into the river.
Hey.
Is there still tree cover where we are?
You'll have to run for it.
Okay.
Do you want Daniel to run for it?
Yeah, I think Daniel and I both are like, we look at each other and we're like, run! And we run for the trees.
Okay. He drops on all fours. Holy shit, this tiger can run. Yeah, and it's like a smooth ride too. It's not like a bounce. It's more like you're gliding. Hopkins, do you hop to it?
I think, yes, it's going to have to be a scramble for the tree line for deeper cover.
All right. Well, Ketty, you can land with your prey, and you hear over the radio Tex sort of harshly whispering, "What did you get it? Did you get it?"
So, did I land with it?
If you want to, you caught it.
You got it.
It fired a strange. You received a lot of information from the Queen, with the hormone, as well as various broadcasts that rewired your brain. I don't know if you have the manual for drone operation and armaments. So I think you're aware that this might not be a living thing. And also, it probably has a gun attached to it that shoots rockets that explode, which Tex takes the time to explain that particular detail.
Okay. Gonna make sure the gun isn't pointing at me. Alternatively, pinning it to the ground would keep the gun from pointing at me. Like,
Mhm.
step on Big Claws.
Yeah. As you're coming down from your eventful descent, you notice that there are a pair of odd, like almost like clenched talons that have sort of they look like they once might have had something in their clutches, but now it is gone. And it appears that that little protrusion is also kind of broken the way you landed with this thing, trying to adjust. So yeah, Tex looks over to Hopkins and he's like, "Do you think we should go run over there to her? She's kind of just out there."
Hmm.
Does she look hurt?
Yeah, I guess the question is like, would going out there
She hurt?
be more obvious or like make more of a scene, or does it look like Ketty has it in hand?
She has
Maybe
the
cough.
situation in hand, but the firelight from the explosion is doing three things. One, it's lighting her up a bit, so you can see her silhouette slightly.
Hmm.
Two, it's lighting the island where the tower is, this massive, almost like a spire that has formed itself up from the rubble of the island that has been cleared by the ants, supposedly. And three, the plumes of smoke that are rising into the sky, which, Rocky, you can actually see very clearly. You can also see that there's movement on the island.
Oh no. I was gonna ask if like this all was distracting everyone from the tower so Rocky can, sneak up, but obviously it sounds like it's bringing people to the island or to the point of the explosion, not the other way around. Okay, how much C4 does Rocky have? Does he have a extra that he can like use a little to
You
mess
eat
stuff up?
Tex has two, and you have two.
Okay. So, oh, there's only one.
And he's got
There's
extra.
only
grenades.
one backup, and there's grenades.
Yeah. Okay. I was wondering if I could set a booby trap, but like if there's not enough like, C4 to really do that, it's probably not worth it.
What? An explosion? Not worth it?
No, I meant the explosion would be worth it. Rocky agrees. Oh, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go, no. Let's go do this. Okay.
I knew I
So,
could
Rocky's
convince
gonna
you.
go and figure out where the humans are coming down towards like the motions coming on the island. He's basically gonna jump out of the water, set a one of the bundles of C4 by the drone, and he's gonna go, get out of here. Go, 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 go. And he's gonna jump back into the river and kind of like swim out enough that like he's waiting for people to come to find the drone, and then he's gonna set off the C4.
Ketty is gonna let go of the drone. Assuming it has not grabbed her for some reason.
Yeah, it's not putting up a fight, really.
She is going to let go of her crab, and take off again, and get a little bit farther. Like, she's not going to fly for the tower. She's going to do a loop, the other direction to not immediately like go toward what her obvious target would be.
Question: how close is the drone to the tower in terms of like vision? Would it be immediately obvious, or would it more be just like kind of smoke and fire in the distance, you know, kind of like a glow?
I would say that you guys are on one bank of the river.
Yeah.
Petty, you landed close to the same side of the river that your team is. The island is a little ways up river, and that's where the movement is. Across from that, on the opposite bank, is the plume of orange and gray smoke that is beginning to spread.
So the explosion was on our side.
It was on the opposite side, I think.
It was on the opposite side, but
Yeah.
it was big enough to light up your end of the bank
Okay.
easily enough.
So it shot a rocket as Kenny and it went down.
Okay.
Yes.
In
So I'm so sorry. Just to visualize, it's on the same. The explosion is on the island.
The opposite. The explosion, there's the island, there's you guys over here on one bank, and then the opposite bank is where the rocket landed. The drone is on your side.
Oh.
It's
Okay.
just not in the tree line where you guys are.
Yeah. Okay. In that case,
Thank you.
I will say, I'll turn to Tex, who asked me the question, and said, no, you stay here and cover, and I turn to Daniel and say, Daniel, grab as big a trunk, a branch as you can, and quickly, keeping low, come with me. And I'm going to lead Daniel, I'm hoping that he can grab something fairly large. I'm going to lead him out, keeping as low as possible, trying to minimize silhouettes or visions, etc. To the drone to essentially plant the branch, hopefully a fairly large like chunk of wood on top.
You both pass Rocky along the way.
Hey, guys, I wouldn't go by that. There, I might have made it. There might be some C4 on there. I'm hoping those humans come, and we can blow them up. I want to blow them up. It'll keep a distraction and make it so we can get to the tower. Take some of the humans out. Let's go.
Okay, in that case, and I have Daniel essentially like drop the log, the etc. and Rocky, do you think you can and as quickly as possible, do you think you can do this yourself on the island?
Oh yeah, I can do that. I can swim across. I can set it. I just have to be able to see it. So then I could do that. And then yeah, if they come to it, I could blow it up and distract them.
All right.
Take out the humans.
In that case, we will cover you from this side of the bank. Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Then go.
Okay.
And I'll take everyone. Essentially, the optimal position would be retreating back to cover to where there is a decent coverage of trees or undergrowth, etc. That also is the closest point to the river. We are going to be fairly ineffective at covering Rocky from cover, from where we are. We'll have to essentially go forward and either go into the river or whatever to react. So we need to be as close to the river as possible, as opposed to as close
Right.
to the...
Wait,
Oh, go ahead.
I have two questions. The first is, where is Ketty, and can we get together with her and see if she can go back up into the air to continue scouting?
She already went.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She,
Ketty's already back in the air.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we would have gone...
Ketty, you can
Okay.
you could see that there are shapes, indistinct, moving across the island, and they are beginning to enter the water towards your friends.
Very quietly, Ketty will reach up with one claw and grab her radio, and do some interesting contortion work to like raise that high enough that she can speak into it while clicking the button Radios are not designed for Kenny's talents. So she has been mostly carrying this thing as like I can hear you. So she's trying to squish it in a way that she won't crush it completely, while raising it up so that she can speak into it as quietly as she can, and report that something is getting in the water and coming towards you. And then she's going to put her radio back where it was so that she doesn't drop it and has her claws right.
Good. They're coming. We get them. Kill the humans.
Yeah, you could hear voices moving along, like as they swim across. You can hear them coming out of the water onto the bank that you're on, speaking in low voices, like, "What? Did you hit something?" "No, I didn't hit anything. It just fell out of the sky. I don't know. It just slipped." And the other shape goes, "You fired the rocket. That was not a slip. You panicked." And they're both rushing over to where the drone is.
Okay. Rocky's gonna make sure that like he's far enough out, but he's watching, and I'm moving towards the island, but as soon as they get like right next to the drone, Rocky will detonate.
Oh. Ecstasy. It is a beautiful sight as these two human figures crouch beside the wreck that they were piloting. Everyone feels the burst of this explosion. Probably singes a few fur. Kenny, you get a few thermals out of this. You could ride this for a good while. But the rest of you are in awe. Rocky, probably ecstatic as he...
Rocky's dancing. He's like in the water going...
Amazing. Doing fun splashes. And yeah,
Lulu's just kind of staring at the flames, like not sure how to feel.
There are flames on both sides of the banks, and now the island is completely illuminated. And in this hellish conflagration is the tower. It rises up like a mud-soaked rod that has been plunged into the earth, and you can see that it is a construction of almost alien design. There's a dish at the top of this 30-foot tower. It's big. And various pieces of metal and wire are snaking up it like veins in a severed arm almost. That last detail of severance is pile of ant parts. Several dismembered mandibles and ripped off clumps of carapace.
That's up there at the top of the tower?
Yes,
and at its base.
Sounds like a warning, like stay away, ants kind of thing. Yeah.
You also find a campsite where these two must have been staying.
Does Rocky see any more humans on the island? Like with everything like seeming like it's like the activity's kind of growing, but
the activity has reached a peak, and although you don't see or smell any more humans, you do get the distinct impression that there is a wet cat nearby.
Tex, Tex, Tex. You around here? Tex, Tex.
A wet cat.
Yeah. And Tex is over by Hopkins, and he's like, "Stop barking. There might still be some."
Why do I
Human.
smell? I smell wet cat. Why is there a wet cat? What is that?
Daniel wet?
Well, check it out. Where's it
Why
coming
do
from?
I smell a wet cat?
Why do I smell wet cat?
I'm gonna. Rocky will move towards the wet cat smell.
It is in the tent.
Oh.
There's a
Well,
wet
he's gonna
cat.
run into the tent and see what's in the tent.
You rush into the tent and you see, chained to a almost like a pike that has been stabbed into the earth, there is a cat that looks absolutely miserable. At one point, you imagine that this long-haired feline was quite regal and one could say prize winning, maybe. But now it has been completely disheveled. Pieces of its luscious, now sogging coat have been ripped out. Its face, which was squashed to begin with, now has an even crueler depression on its cheek, and it's swollen around its head. Its ears are bleeding, and you can see that it must have taken a huge beating. It is a changed cat as well, and it looks up bleary-eyed at you.
Hey, is there any way I could get you out of here? I blew up the drone and a couple people, but I need to get. I want to help you. Is there a key? Can I get you out of here? Let's go. We gotta hurry up.
You just gotta pull this spike out.
Okay. So, Rocky will get over and start pulling on the spike to try to get out of the ground.
Nice. Pull the spike out, and the cat stands up, groaning, and immediately shuffles out with the chains still attached, and everybody sees a very skinny, very sad-looking cat come waddling out of the tent into the firelight. And
Run up to help.
yeah,
Like,
and he just whirls around and says, Did you get both of them?"
Yeah, get them both. They blew them up.
they're both
As-
dead. They're both gone. They can't hurt you anymore.
As they're running up to help, I would
You guys cross the river then? Because I'm on the other side. So
wait, are you on the other side or you're on the
I'm on the island.
The
I'm on the
island.
island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I threw a picture of what in my head this like.
I'm
Yeah.
so confused. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Do I have a video?
It's a river with two banks and an island in the middle is the picture
Yes.
that I threw into the thing because
Basically without the bridges and the buildings.
yeah.
That's
this
essentially
is
what
the
it is.
Seine in France, and I knew that there was a river with an island in the middle, so I got it. Does Kenny see any like other human motion coming
No.
from anywhere else?
As you start to circle, you don't see any other sign or disturbance, and honestly,
Like, what did
that's
the
kind of.
rocket hit?
Oh, sorry?
Now, what did the rocket hit?
The other bank.
Okay, and there's no humans investigating over there either.
No.
Weird.
In that case, Hopkins will turn to Tex and kind of sotto voice, as opposed to like shouting out or anything as they react, will say, Tex, what is the likelihood that this cat is infected, and what is the danger of that?
Well, listen, I've got a lot of ideas on the symptoms. Maybe I shouldn't go over there just in case until we get confirmation. But the rest of you should be fine. Emza it's kind of locked in with certain species, but the one in this area does appear to be significantly feline-based.
And what would be the protocol for you if they are infected?
Kill them. It's kindness, really. If they are infected, it's just going to get worse and worse. And, I've seen my share of Emza infected. They can get real nasty. They just stop speaking clearly, they stop thinking clearly, and to be honest, they'll turn into raging, horrific vectors, not just, coughing and spitting and vomiting, but they'll start clawing and biting, and it's a nasty sign.
And how can we tell?
Well, Rocky.
Yeah, what's up?
Does this cat have any blood, like a bloody foam around its nostrils?
Well, it kind of looks like cat got beaten up by the humans, so I can't really tell.
All right, how about its eyes? Are they crusty?
Are the cat's eyes crusty?
It's hard to tell. Even with the hot glow of the explosions that you're reveling in, this cat appears to be. He's been under this pressure for a while now. A lot of these wounds have gotten time to just like cover his entire head and crust over.
I can't really tell. Like I said, the humans were real. Humans were real bad to him, and I can't tell. Like cat's got wounds and crusty and fucked up from the humans, and I don't know what to do.
Hopkins, I'm gonna have to ask Rocky to interrogate him. He says this gravely.
Do we have the time? We should be moving on from this location as soon as possible, and on to the next part of the mission.
Here.
I agree, but we also need to disable that signal. We need to purge it.
Here, I'll let you talk to him on the radio. I got some C4 to plant. And he's going to give the cat the radio and start moving towards the tower.
Don't I need to do something with the translator?
You do.
Okay.
The cat says into the radio, hello? Yes? Tex responds, all right, what's your name, what's your rank, and what the hell are you doing all the way out here? And the cat responds, saying, I'm part of the colony's Alpha Division. I'm a Wrangler. You're a Wrangler for Alphas. Well, yes, my name is Yojimbo, and I am here to ascertain the sickness that is devouring the ants, you see. It's quite fascinating, really. It emerges from this tower, you see, and unfortunately my entire squad was decimated. Now, I can shut this down, but I don't have my translator. The humans destroyed it. Tex looks over to Lilu and says, I don't know. You could have Emza. I mean, Emza makes you say crazy shit.
Is there a danger to him using the translator? Could he infect others if he used it?
It's hard to say. Translators are entirely different species of technology, essentially. I mean, you saw it for yourself. It might be a kindness if we just let the thing break him just so he could purge whatever is inside this tower, whatever signal is going rogue. It'll save you some brain power for the next leg of the journey, at least.
But won't I have to do whatever he's going to have to do at the next 2 sites anyway?
Would you rather you do it and then we take him with us? This potentially EMSA-ridden freak?
Could have him tell me what to do and then let him go. We don't know that he has EMSA.
No.
He's been hurt by these humans. I mean, Rocky got rid of them, but we don't want to be like them, do we?
We are not like them.
So maybe I can figure out a way to use this translator without too much damage. I'd like to try if you would explain to me how.
All right, I'm staying here, not getting within 20 feet. That island and that cat, okay?
Or no, you should definitely stay away. There's a higher chance of transmission between him and you. You guys are the same, right?
And Daniel sort of mumbles almost apologetically. Right, you want me to swim you over,
Yes.
Lulu?
No, wait. Then you'll be on the island and you'll be in danger. Can he just tell me what to do over the radio?
You also have a bird.
You do have a bird. Is it time to enact the sack plan?
Just as a reminder, you do have a bird who has a bag.
I think Lilu, I'm gonna have my first pang of abject terror at the prospect of going up in the air, but Ketty has done right by us so far, and I don't really want this cat to die or our cats to get EMSA, so I will get in the bag. I'm just like looking up still in terror.
Ketty will need to land for this, and so we'll circle her way back around and then come in for a landing near Lilu and Daniel.
I will go as well.
In the bag?
It's a full bag.
Ketty lays out the bag for her passengers.
I would just settle next to Hopkins, like kind of in a little blizzard donut.
I like the idea of like this amphibious creature next to this unsavourily dry animal.
Yeah,
and they're just
spiky.
all just unblinkingly staring at each other.
There's definitely unhappy croaking as happens.
Yeah, I try to like face slightly in the opposite direction so that, because I don't have eyelids, by the way. I just have these little like spikes that droop, and they are standing straight up right now because I'm petrified. So I just kind of like lean my head away, so I'm trying not to freak him out too much, but I'm too freaked out myself to be able to do much.
That's okay.
Ketty carefully collects she picks up the straps of the bag with her beak, because trying to take off while carrying them with her claws feels dangerous. And so she scoops up the straps of the bag in her beak and lifts both the amphibian and the lizard off of the ground, and then takes a couple hops and jumps back into the air with them to basically just glide across the river. She is not going very high on this one, which also means that our new friend, the cat that just got the whatever kicked out of him by the humans, is going to see a gigantic bird coming at him.
Yeah, and he sort of whispers in this this odd tone. Ah, you're a bird scout. That's smart.
The bird scout lands fairly nearby to the cat, between the cat and the tower, basically, and gently puts the bag back on the ground. And after it's no longer in her mouth, announces to the two passengers, "We've landed. You can get out of the bag now."
Thank you.
Baggage
Like,
claim will be in
scramble
the
out.
West Wing.
Baggage claim is to your left. And after they are out of the baggage, she will reclaim her bag, fold it back up, and stick it back in her bandolier.
Cute. Ah. Well, welcome to my prison.
What is your
Been-
name?
Ah. Hello. You are all very... You're not local, are you?
No, we're from the zoo.
Oh, yes. That makes sense. All right. Well, why are you here? Who sent you?
We have a mission to take down these towers. We have taken down this one. Well, we will. And we have a few more to go.
Well, I'll be happy to help. My name is Colonel Yojimbo, and now that I am, he's somewhat freed himself from the chains that have held him down.
Wait, his name is Colonel Yojimbo?
Yes, my name is Colonel Yojimbo. Sorry,
Listen,
my
Hold on.
disheveled state is not as army official. But yes, you have a
Sidebar.
translator. We could use that.
Tiny sidebar. I'm so sorry, just out of character. Isn't it his book that I have, the manual that explains the translator?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It even has his picture in it.
So, okay, back in character. I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy about that. You're Colonel Yojimbo? You wrote the manual for the translator.
Oh. It's simply a accumulation of experience.
Oh my god, I have so many questions.
I'm certain that you do. Although, unfortunately, you have the mammal to... Oh yes, that's the G16. Colony to mammal translation. Yes. This is a very good find for you. Fortunately, the G15 had a printing error. It's quite devastating to the mind. We fixed that, thankfully. Anyway, we should, before we get to your questions, we should purge the tower and blow it up.
Yes.
Your friend is already moving to do this,
Yes, he's very, very good at blowing stuff up.
as evidenced by, and he just gestures to both ends of the river.
Yeah. Yes. He's amazing at that, really. My job is to take out the function of this tower, to purge it before we can let Rocky loose on it. How do I do that?
Easy. Interfacing with the tower directly merely requires your presence and go to page 72 two that should have the proper code that you'll have to amend into your ritual. And thus, you'll be able to interface with whatever is going on with the broadcast and simply purge it as you mentally would a bad, ill-conceived idea.
When you say ritual, what do you mean exactly?
Oh, it's... Some people, some animals, they require a visualization in order to interface with the translator. It's very difficult, you see, for
Yes.
some animals who are new to the change. They cannot broaden their mind enough. But you do seem quite young, and thus I believe that may be contributing to your excellence in this fashion.
Oh, so being young and inexperienced is good. Okay.
Yes, your mind is very adaptable in that case.
That's true. I have so much to learn. Okay, I guess there's nothing for it but to try. So I'm gonna settle myself on the ground, kind of in. Oh, no. I'm gonna settle myself on the ground, put the book on my lap, open to the page with the code so that I have it in front of me. I'm trying to read it and keep it in my brain just in case it's there. And then I put on the translation device. I close my eyes and I start to try to interface with the device and the tower.
The difference is immediate. Instead of interfacing with like a fraction, like a severed piece of the colony's consciousness, of a collective experience, this is like standing in front of a wave. And the wave is never falling. It is a tsunami with tomes. Entire libraries are collected in this tsunami. And as it just perilously stands frozen above you, you not only hear the tone, the numbers, the rote DNA patterns that are not only being repeated back to you, but new ones being, oddly enough, mutated in a way. And as you're trying to parse the numbers, letters, the memories, you feel that this tower is like an antenna plucked from Hymenoptera unas herself. She has an entire class of citizens in her colony, minuscule, whose only job is to go into the pages of books and to walk upon its pages, transcribing the scent of ink into patterns, and then transmitting those patterns back to the colony where it was born, to a queen that is not the queen, but is descended from the queen. And now you know that it has been interfered with, that the wave is cresting, but it can't fall because there is something holding it back. And you see, it is a figure, a cat. Its figure is an indistinct shadow of itself, and it's facing you. And you can see its face is expressionless, unblinking, observing you.
Who are you? I asked the cat.
What is Emza? That's what you should be asking.
What is Emza?
He points behind you.
Understand? Can you? Is Emza corrupting ants and cats?
He hisses, and everyone who is watching can see Lilu makes a very rough, hacking noise, and she tosses herself to the side on the ground. Lilu, you feel, even though you are trying to reach this cat, this entity, you feel something else inside here pulling you away from him. And you see Trish standing behind you. But her eyes are segmented, compounded, deep, like an endless ocean of hate and spite. And you hear the cat again say, "What is Emza?"
So confused. Is Emza making you hate this human?
And Trish, with teeth clenched, she says, "Death, life!" Again, numbers are beginning to coalesce around you. The wave no longer is cresting. It no longer is falling. It is receding. It is dragging all of its knowledge back away from you, and you are being pulled. The entire beach, the world is being dragged away from you. All of this knowledge is leaving this place.
The numbers remind me that I have to input a code, and so I focus on that. I don't want the knowledge to go away. I have so many more questions, but this is the only thing I can think of to do. Part of the reason we came. So, I mean, Colonel Yojimbo wrote the manual, given me the instructions, so that's what I'm going to do. And I just try with my mind and my hands on the book, just try to input the code.
The code comes to you, and like a prayer that you have said every day of your life, it silences the wave, and you see the cat is the last thing left behind in this still ocean. And you see Trish walk past you and strangle him to death. And
I-
again, death, life.
I like yelling probably at this point. I don't understand, and I pull the translator off my head, and I'm woozy, and my head hurts, and I look at Colonel Yojimbo, and I just say, "What is Emza?" I kept saying, "What is Emza?" I saw a cat. I saw
Oh.
Trish, but she was evil, and there was so much knowledge. And then it was taken away, and I don't understand. What is Emza?
You don't have to hold on to everything you saw. You can let it go. You can't keep all of it at once.
But I want to understand.
The queen is the only one who understands. The
There
job
was
of
another queen. There was a moment when there was another queen. I don't know what it meant, though.
maybe you merely saw a subordinate species to the queen,
No,
not
it
intelligent like her.
No, it was another queen. I don't know what I saw. I need to just clear my head for a bit, I think.
Young lady, remember that you have a job to do. You are merely the translator for this team. You don't need to understand. Translator's job is to transcribe. And also to censor.
I mean, I'm not supposed to tell my friends what I see?
Well, I'm certain that you can, but it's just going to sound like nonsense. Remember when I said about younger minds prevailing over older experienced ones?
Yeah.
They're already too old. But your
How come
reptilian
you
nature.
still understand.
Well, sometimes the queen shows mercy to those who work hard.
Oh, that makes sense.
Hey. Still, though, I could sign that book if you want. Might be worth something when the war is over.
Okay. Thank you for teaching me.
Yeah, he takes it, opens it up, starts flipping through the pages for, I don't know, somewhere that he can sign. He's like, oh my goodness. If I sign here, it's going to rip the back cover off, I'm certain. And you once again, you see that photo flop out. That picture of Yojimbo is not this cat. This cat is a long-haired, almost dark blue, dark gray, with a squashed face. The cat that you saw in the translator in the tower is identical to the one in the picture. The only thing it's missing is the sash that denotes colonel rank.
Does the cat I'm talking to realize, like, can I snatch the book from him before he realizes it flipped to that page?
Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna grab it. Thank you. I don't want to damage it. Thank you so much for teaching me. And I just kind of like grab it quickly and stash it back in my gear and head back towards Ketty. And when I get to Ketty, hopefully I'm far enough away from him, I whisper, I like basically cuddle up into her like I'm scared, and I need support, which I do. I am. and I whisper, I don't think he's actually Colonel Yojimbo. Something isn't right.
Hetty fluffs her feathers a little bit, like she's trying to like give Lilu a little bit more fuzz to curl up in, but that also lets her fold her wings in such a way that all of those sharp metally bits that the cats put on her are now on the outside of the lizard, which doesn't necessarily look threatening, but is absolutely a threat. And Lilu may be able to notice that, like, she's been tucked more than the last time that Kenny like settled, like she was protecting a nest. This is a different kind of protect.
Yeah.
And Kenny has been staring at this cat and Lilu the entire time, and now she's just staring at the cat.
Yeah, Lilu feels a little bit better. she knows Kenny is safety.
Kenny's also going to, while she has a second here, rearrange her bandolier slightly so that the bag is attached to the top. And basically, if Lilu at any point decides to, she can lizard herself.
And then also, so once Lilu is protected by the wing, she whispers into the radio, so that because the cat doesn't have a radio, so she whispers.
Yes, he does. He has
I
Rocky's radio.
Yeah, I gave her my radio.
He has set it down so that he can pick up the translator that you have dropped.
Oh,
no.
no. Oh no.
I didn't mean to drop it.
So
You ripped it off.
As he starts to make that motion, Kenny leaps forward, which now the cat once again has an extremely large bird coming directly at him. That's not yours.
He is not cowed by your aggressive approach. In fact, he looks rather jovial and happy that you came by, and he holds out the translator and says, "No, she dropped it."
So he doesn't have the radio now, right?
No, he doesn't.
Okay, but everyone. So would he?
Pretty much everybody has a radio, but he has set his aside.
Okay. So I'm just gonna whisper into the radio, so that everyone else hears it. I don't think this cat is Colonel Yojimbo. Something is wrong. We should get away from him.
Kenny reaches forward and tucks the translator into the bag.
You bend your head into
interesting directions and tucks the translator into the lizard bag.
You need an engineer for these fucking bandoliers in this bag.
Clearly. And she then hops backward, reaches down with her beak, catches the radio, and drops that in the bag too.
I'm assuming I hear that over the radio.
Certainly.
Like, essentially, Hopkins would have moved.
Sorry. I just would want to say over the radio, Hopkins, I don't know if the code I entered is the right one.
Hopkins would have moved away from, like, immediately on landing, moved away from Bird and Basket, was unhappy, and basically be watching over, but not, like, wouldn't be particularly close to either of them. Is Rocky also nearby?
I'm moving towards the tower because I'm gonna go plant C4.
Yeah, Rocky has been trying to plant C4 since before we started the translator thing, which presumably is a bit of time.
Absolutely, yeah. you're about to add a third bonfire to this landscape. And this one is going to have shrapnel in it.
In that case, as Ketty moves aggressively and probably around about the same time, Ilu comes over the radio. That would be when Hopkins unsheathed the pistol and holds it up, pointing at the cat, and moving forward very slightly and slowly towards him, and says, hold where you are.
As Hopkins threatens the cat, Ketty is going to hop backwards to where she left Lilu, and position herself so that she's turned one of her cat armor metal covered wings in the general direction of this strange cat, and also blocking Lilu at the same time. So Lilu is back to being inundated by feathers, which, depending on how Lilu is feeling about feathers, could be good or bad.
And like moving forward slowly with the pistol to keep him covered. I'm assuming he can see me and is not making any sudden moves or anything.
Looks concerned, but not emotional about being threatened.
So pointing pistol at him, unhook radio and radio Rocky and say...
Rocky doesn't have a radio.
Oh, God damn it. That's
Rocky
right.
gave the radio to the cat. Yeah.
In that case...
It's on the ground.
It's in Ketty's lizard bag.
Oh, that's right, you did get it.
Yeah, it's in the lizard bag with the translator, which Ketty will lean down and say quietly to Lilu, "Translator's in your bag."
Thank you. How do we get the radio back to Rocky? He needs to
Ketty
know.
eyes the tower. Ketty's still a bird.
This bird thought drone was food.
She did. Maybe otters are also food. Does she see any food?
There's a cat here. Maybe if Hopkins kills him, you could have that. The humans are dead.
She could go eat one of those later, but at the moment she's looking specifically for an otter-flavored not snack.
Mm-hmm. And I'd say Rocky, you're distracted enough. Like, you want everybody to see this beautiful thing you're about to unleash.
Yep.
You could see the toad holding a pistol up to this guy that you freed just a moment ago.
Silly toad. I don't know what's happening, but must plant C4. I'll deal with that in a little bit. Must get up the hill. Must plant my C4.
So, Hopkins radios Tex and says, with his eyes still like fixed on the cat and pistol pointing at him, Tex, are you ready to proceed onwards? Can you and Danielle make it across the river, the other side of the bank?
Yeah, we should be able to. Why?
Go-
What's going on over there? Wait, I have a radio. I know everything.
Go. Go ahead and do that now.
All right. Are you gonna kill him?
Ketty, rendezvous with them. Take Lilu off to the other side of the river.
What about you?
I will make my way there with Rocky. As he is downhill.
Ketty mutters something about amphibians, and leans down so that Lilu can hop into the bag.
I do exactly that and just settle myself. And I like settle myself in a way, especially since I'm by myself, there's enough room. I can kind of put the manual on my lap and go to the page where the code was and try to figure out if it's okay or not. That I did that. If I didn't just make a horrible mistake.
I put the radio, holster it back in on, etc. Take the hand I was holding the radio with to couch the pistol and kind of turn very slightly, and thinking about the...
Kitty's gonna take off before any cat shooting happens because she has decided that Lilu does not need to see, and takes off and starts her loop over to the other side because she's also doing a tiny bit of reconnaissance before landing anywhere with her passenger.
Thinking about the conversation I had with Tex before coming over here, and pretty much just the basic information I currently have. Say, we have a schedule and a mission. I do not care for complications. And then shoot, aiming for between his eyes.
Fight roll.
Right. Oof.
This sounds like a good time for horror.
That is a 1, a 2, and a 1.
Yeah, unless anybody wants to use a tick. But I kind of have a great idea for what happens next. Rocky blows up the C4 and it causes you to miss. And in that explosive interruption, this cat is gone.
Makes sense.
And you hear, I mean, like there's like the fire and the explosion and everything like that, but then you hear like woo, just like you're just shouting at like the happiest otter in the world.
And like Hopkins like looks back up, like looks around for a second, hears the woo, and just kind of looks back down at his gun for a second, like, and then holsters it. I'm like, no, I still need him.
And I'm going to assign half of the change's presence to an agent. Colonel Yojimbo is now an agent of the change and is averse to your goals, as far as you know. Ketty, you're in the air for most of the following hours, making sure that this blaze, number one, doesn't catch up to your friends, and number two, doesn't draw anyone close to your friends. The operation has succeeded in its first step, albeit a little loose thread now wanders out there somewhere. And that's curious, because you can't seem to find it. Unless, Hopkins, did you tell everyone that you missed?
Yes. When we reconvened, and myself and Rocky went to the rendezvous, I told everyone that I took a shot and missed. By the time I rerighted my aim, the cat had jumped into the water and was gone.
He was not Colonel Yojimbo. And I pull out the book and I show them the picture. This is Colonel Yojimbo. Even in his worst state, he would not be the same as that cat. But I saw Colonel Yojimbo when I had the translator on. I saw him, and Trish killed him, and he kept saying, "What is Emza?" And there was another queen. The first time I put the translator on, okay, so wait, hold on. I'm just trying to tell them like everything,
Everything, yeah.
but it's just us. I'm just confirming it's just us there.
Yes. Unfortunately, Lilu, you're also telling them random facts about, like,
Yeah.
substations for some fucking reason. For some
Oh.
damn reason. You are full of all sorts of
Random
amazing
information.
knowledge. Yes. So, like, between there's another queen, and Yojimbo was telling me about what is Emza. Also, did you know that in 1947, the it's just one bit after another.
Yeah, just like random facts.
But
There's so much
almost
information.
almost as soon as you say it, fact leaves you. It's such a disorienting thing having so much knowledge, and the moment you recognize, oh, I know this. What happened to it? Where'd it go? It's gone.
I almost can't hold on to all this information. And then I stop talking because I don't want more information to go away.
Tex. I'm sorry, there was we had a barn cat named Tux because he looked like he wore a tuxedo.
That's what I was about to make a joke about, is that Tex suddenly doesn't have a cowboy hat, he's got a monocle.
Yeah, he's very refined all of a sudden. He sort of tips his cowboy hat back and he tisks and says, that's why a lot of folks who use the translator don't last a long time. Their brains get overloaded. You're gonna cook yourself if you do that too deeply again.
I don't know how to not take it in.
The cul-de-sac told me about what it's like. I've never used one of these things before, but cul-de-sac, he's a master at it. He makes it look like, he makes it look like, I don't know, like he talks to ants. But he doesn't carry any of that knowledge back with him. He puts up a sort of oneness with the colony. Maybe with these towers, there's no oneness. There's just too many blueprints, too many shapes that you could pour this knowledge into. And that's what the towers are for. They're there to help us be smarter, be good thinkers. That's what the hormone reacts to. Maybe your hormone is still working.
Clearly. I'm just really unsure about this code we put in. Trying to figure out what it does. Can I understand what can I look back on the page and try to figure out what it actually would do?
Make a fawn roll. Or a freeze roll.
Freeze would be good. And I think kind of appropriate. So I think I'm supposed to do 4 rolls though. So I need to do 3 more. I just did the thing wrong. I'm sorry.
That's okay. You got 1 roll down.
Yeah. There we go. Okay.
A 4!
Oh,
Yay!
Just
Yes.
1 4. Okay. This code, as it's described in the colony to manual instruction, is supposed to purge all recent updates to the system back to default.
Oh.
And it does this by throttling the system that is currently operating this vast amount of knowledge. And just thinking it is enough to activate it within the translator modules. You just have to have enough sanity, I guess, in order to coherently get these letters and digits into your thought patterns.
So basically, I just factory reset the tower.
Yeah, and then you blew it up. No more rogue signal. That means no remnant after it was destroyed. No death rattle.
So the code did what we were supposed to do.
Yes. It just took a very frightening shape, which it apparently does appear that when you use the translator, it does its best to follow not only like the meaning of your thoughts, but like the emotions behind them. For some reason, your code emphasized Trish and the compound eyes, partly because you were in the presence of another mind that was possibly doing a counter code.
So there was someone else there? Could someone else have connected to the tower? Or was it a remnant of the corrupting code?
Tex could give a pot shot if you want.
Or what does that mean? I'm sorry.
It means he can sort of throw out an idea.
Sure.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, okay. Idea. Sometimes we've tried to use translators to communicate with one another. It doesn't really work too well because, well, it's easy to interface with an ant. An ant isn't a complete person. So, you know, when you get pulled out, you're not really taking you might take like, you know, the queen is a vast and unfathomable being of, you know, she's a god, basically, in the barest sense of the term. But you can't drag that back into yourself when you leave because you're speaking with a small fraction of what she is, of what the colony is. If you do that with just, you know, your neighbor, how are you going to be certain that what comes back from that interaction is going to be entirely you?
Milu looks at the translator and looks at Tex and looks at the book. Could I have connected with the real Colonel Yojimbo? Because he was the cat that I saw. Or was that my brain coming up with images?
I'd say the easy answer is just chalk it up to images and just blow up the towers right after you see him. You know, just activate that code, purge whatever this is from the system, and forget about it. Go back to the zoo, go lick a cantaloupe or
But it
something.
means something, Tex. And why would this other cat pretend to be Colonel Yojimbo?
This is a bump in the road. This is EMSA. It disrupts everything that the colony is trying to do. Wipe out humanity and build a world that we deserve. You don't need to think about this that hard. Just, you know, do what comes natural. Do what's in the manual. That's what cul-de-sac wants. That's what's going to get you your zoo. Otherwise, it's just going to turn out like this. And he points and gestures to a field of corpses. Alphas of all sizes are entangled in a death that is so violent that it makes the thing that Daniel did to the alpha that tried to attack you, Lilu, back at the zoo, it makes that look like ballet. What has happened here in this wholesale slaughter of ant versus ant, of an insane horde turning on itself, it puts the value of disabling and destroying these towers into perspective. Because you cannot imagine any amount of humans standing against the pile that you see in front of you.
I think I'm just gonna get very quiet and say, okay. And then kind of go off, find somewhere to sit and study the book. But I'm thinking a lot.
You get a lot to think. And Tex looks to Hopkins and says, do you think she has it?
As what?
You know. She was right next to the guy.
You were talking about the Emser?
Yeah.
You said it would not be a problem.
I thought it wouldn't be a problem. But she's having all these ideas. And, you know, I've seen Cul-de-sac use the translator dozens of times. He never came back with any of this. There's another person in the translator.
And it is not designed for reptiles. Perhaps what you're running into is a difference in how things function. This is all Ketty says before she hops over to cover Lilu and Fluff again.
Lilu's gonna settle in and try to get some rest. She feels safe with Ketty.
It sounds like there is no certain answer, yes?
Not until we get back in touch with the colony at large and get the latest developments on reptilian Emsa. But I'll be honest, if she starts going a bit wacky, we should keep our distance. Rocket, do you hear that? Keep your distance.
Yeah, got it. Keep away. Keep away. Keep away.
You want to roast one of these big babies?
Are we roasting?
Yeah, you can. Hopkins, you want some ant? Listen, you can peel apart the carapace in just the right way, and these are like recent. Like this is easy soup.
I mean, but and then Rocky thinks about it for a second. Oh, you want me to start fire? Yeah, you want me to start fire? And he takes out his like little chunk of a cigar and lights it, and he's like, "Yeah, I love fire. Fire's almost as cool as, explosions, but not quite. But you want me to start fire?"
We should keep the light level low. It would stand out to have a fire.
Isn't there already fire on the shore because of the rocket?
Oh, I thought we'd moved away a fair ways from the...
Yeah, you moved a few hours, but
Yeah.
I
it is
missed that.
Sorry, I should have made that a little bit more clear. But yeah.
Woof. Okay, cool.
Hey, we know now. I'm gonna go ahead and say that Daniel comes over with Ketty to comfort Lilu. Says, It's okay if you like the bag better.
No, I didn't want to put you in danger. Did you hear everything I said?
About what?
What I saw in the translator?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What do you think?
Um, I think he wanted you to know, um, he doesn't he doesn't think the queen is all that good, I think. Or that Trish isn't so good. That's what her eyes looked like, y'all.
Yeah.
And then she killed him.
Do you think the real Trish is related to the queen somehow?
Mm-mm. I think he was just trying to show you what Emza does
Oh,
and
that
who
makes
does it
sense.
to us, maybe.
Trish looked like the queen with her eyes, but I don't know if there's really just one queen or two, and I don't know which one is good or bad.
You're good. That's all I want you to know. You're good, Lilu.
Thanks, Daniel.
Ketty is a good too, but she needs to take turns with Lilu. Because I like carrying Lilu.
I think I would get up and just pet him. And also like I'd stand next to them both, so I'd keep like I'd be like leaning against Ketty but petting Daniel. So they could share. um and I'd just be thinking a lot.
Thank you very much for watching. You can find links to the cast in the description below the video. Please do consider checking them out when you have a moment. As always, a massive thanks to our patrons, currently on screen now, who are instrumental in keeping the shows coming and continue to astound me with your support. For now though, last call has arrived and closing time is here. You are welcome back anytime you desire. Always feel free to wander